Yeah, I didn't expect this to happen either. So just out of nowhere, Nintendo announced a brand new Direct happening this month. Not a mini Direct, not a partner showcase or anything like that, but a full, fat, honest-to-goodness Nintendo Direct. Normally I don't do these types of videos until around the summertime when E3 is happening. But since we got fairly slim pickings from Nintendo last year, and considering that the last big Nintendo Direct happened way back in September 2019, I'm going to make an exception this one time. But I'm warning you, Nintendo, you've left us starving for games for quite a while now, so you better give us the goods. Okay, I guess we're starting off with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 news, and it looks like we're getting some DLC heading our way. Honestly, this news doesn't really do that much for me, but I'm sure that it will really please those who are fans of the franchise. Psych! New Smash Bros. Character! I guess they're getting their Smash announcement out of the way first. Pretty good trailer too, certainly had me fooled. The new fighter from the aforementioned Xenoblade game is Pyra, along with her alternate form, Mythra, which players can switch between on the fly, similar to how Sheik and Zelda did before they became separate characters. Both forms also get their own set of special moves and unique final smashes as well. Still, I've got to imagine that the reception for this character is not going to be that great. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that she's a perfectly fine addition. It's just that while Sephiroth's announcement had us feeling like, oh my god! This kind of feels like a much more reserved,
Neat.
But perhaps I'm just disappointed that we still don't have Bomberman as a playable character. You got 2 more chances left, Sakurai, so don't blow it. The next big announcement is the return of the Mario Golf franchise with Mario Golf Super Rush. It's been a long time since I thought about this series, and the only one I remember playing is the original on the N64. After watching this though, I am very much intrigued. The game makes good use of the Joy-Con's motion controls, includes a new multiplayer feature that looks insanely fun. And a story mode? Well, someone's been playing Golf Story. I have to admit, I'm not really that into Mario sports titles, but like I said, this one has got me interested, and I might just have to check it out. Next comes Square Enix, as they announced the latest title in their HD 2D series, Project Triangle Strategy. Whilst retaining a similar art style to their previous title, Octopath Traveler, they have switched up the gameplay this time, to that of a tactical RPG, similar to games like Final Fantasy Tactics and the Disgaea series. Not only does the positioning of your units and tactical use of the terrain help you in combat, but you can also alter the terrain itself and use coordinated attacks to deal massive damage. There are also strong allusions to the idea that the choices you make throughout the game will have an overall effect on the story, as well as what characters you can recruit to your team. It's nothing that we haven't seen before in other games, and a lot of those games end up dropping the ball towards the end, but this game seems to greatly imply that the various paths are so divergent that no 2 players will have the same experience. There's a demo for the game available right now, with a future survey for feedback coming at a later date. Good stuff. Some of the other big titles Nintendo have got coming include Monster Hunter Rise, with a trailer that shows off some of the monsters you'll be facing, and a fancy new Nintendo Switch and controllers decked out in Monster Hunter decal. Neon White, a fast-paced first-person action game that looks incredibly slick. Famicom Detective Club, a duo of games that have you talking to witnesses and gathering clues in order to solve a series of mysterious deaths. And some actual No More Heroes free footage that isn't being blocked by Suda51. This time Travis is fighting to save the world from aliens, whilst doing a few odd jobs to earn money, and indulging in a bit of video game parody. Looks like the wait will be over soon. As the show came to a close, Eiji Aonuma showed up to let everyone know that Breath of the Wild 2 is still in development, but we should get more news later in the year. Instead, we get the announcement that The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is being brought to the Switch. The new HD remake not only updates the quality of the graphics, but the motion controls developed for the Wii version have been adapted to work with the Joy-Con controls for a smoother, more manageable experience. Even better, the game has been adapted to work with button commands in handheld mode, and you can use the right stick to control the movements of Link's sword. Add in a couple of attractive looking Joy-Con controllers, and this just about makes up for the lack of Breath of the Wild 2 news. I know that the reception to Skyward Sword was a bit divisive when it first came out, but with the improved motion controls and added way of playing the game without them, I'm hoping that everyone will be willing to give it a second chance. Depending on who you are, the final announcement of Splatoon 3 coming out next year will either be a massive highlight or a bit of a letdown. It doesn't really feel like it's showing us anything new. The usual brand of ink spraying gameplay, a brief glimpse at customization, and some sort of wasteland-themed arena. Nothing that new from what I can see, but this is coming from someone who hasn't played that much of the series. In between all of the big announcements, there was not too much to get excited about. A few new titles that either didn't look like much or barely even gave us anything, a few updates for games that were already out, and lots and lots and lots of ports. Now, I don't have a problem with this at all. Some of them look really great, like Hades getting a physical edition, and Legend of Mana giving me serious Dark Cloud vibes. But the number of games being brought over from other consoles does give new meaning to the Switch being a portable console.
I get it!
Overall, I felt that this was a great return to form for Nintendo, with plenty of big announcements and teasers that should keep fans entertained over the next few months. Hopefully, by the time summer comes around this year, we'll be ready for another great Nintendo presentation. That will only last about 7 minutes.